I want to thank you for listening to Storm Talk 365. Storm Talk 365 is a faith-based podcast that believes in the spiritual growth of humanity and the upliftment of all of God's children. Storm Talk 365 also offers global coverage. So if your church, social or civic organization, or even your business needs to get more coverage, please contact us at www.stormtalk365radio.com. Once again, that is www.stormtalk365radio.com, where we will get you the global coverage that you and your organization deserves.
And welcome to Trust What God Allows. Hey, we take this time each and every Sunday to talk about the things that are happening in the faith community. And let's be honest, sometimes we want to pull our hair out. And you bald like me, you just want to scratch your bald head. It makes you go, Some of the things we hear make a preacher want to cuss. Some things just make you want to throw things or throw people, because we hear some of the strangest things happening in the church. But I am excited today because I want to talk about an event that's coming up that we're going to address some of these issues with the entire faith community, not just the Baptist folks, not just the Methodist folks, but the entire faith community. So before we get started, I want to say welcome to someone who's going to help me have this conversation, Miss B. Miss B, are you there?
I be here. Hey, everybody. Hello, Coach to the pastors. How you doing?
I'm doing one fabulous. As of right now, I'm doing great. As Tony the Tiger say, I'm doing great because this is a great day. So I want to tell the listeners too. Miss B introduced me to a young lady who has been the owner and proprietor of the only ecumenical law firm on the East Coast. And for those folks who don't know what that is, that means she's a church lawyer. She taught the church folk. All right? Because just because you got the Holy Ghost don't mean you do everything legal. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. So, and she has a heart for helping churches at risk. In fact, that's how we kind of came into each other. We started talking about churches at risk. And she actually does a radio show, has a platform called Church at Risk. And that is Michelle Rhett Esquire. And so this is a young lady Miss B introduced me to, and we had some conversations, some rather intense conversations about church folk, and it has been a blast ever since I met her. So I want to thank you, Miss B, for setting up that intro.
All right, thank you. Let me tell you, listeners, that is a combination that has a future, so stay tuned for more from that.
Because, coaches don't meet folks just to be meeting people. I ain't got time to just be meeting folks just because. So I happen to believe that there are divine connections. And so I was invited by Attorney Rhett to be part of a summit that she holds every year. This summit is the 2017 Interfaith Summit. And this year's going to be held November 9th through the 11th in Arlington, Virginia at the Renaissance downtown. So this is very important. It's going to be held at, let me make sure I get the right hotel here. And it's right, Renaissance Arlington Capitol View Hotel in Arlington, Virginia. Now, Ms. B and I are going to talk about this because I believe if you are a church leader, if you are just interested in what the church is doing, if you're frustrated with the church about what it is or is not doing, this is the place to be. This is where attorneys will get together, business leaders will get together, faith leaders get together, and, of course, Coach will be there. And we will have conversations about things that are vexing and taxing and challenging the local communities of faith. Now, just in case you get a little scared, it ain't just about Christian folk. It's about all places of faith. So There'll be representatives from the Islamic community or from the Jewish community, as well as from the business community that's not necessarily a faith community. And the reason this is important, because somebody would say, Coach, you coach pastors, you coach church folk. How are you going to be at a summit with all these unchurched folk? Well, I'm glad you asked me. Because I believe the Bible says that we have to reach out and touch folk with the power of God. And you can't reach out and have these deep, abiding, life-changing, life-altering circumstance and situation changing conversations if we're not in relationship with each other. This is a relationship-building thing, Coach. I get a chance to coach some pastors. I get a chance to help people with the leadership development in all walks of their life. And if we're fortunate, which I believe we're going to be blessed in this way, we're going to be able to introduce people to God in a brand new kind of way. So let's talk about this summit. It's a national summit. It's a thin line between church and state. What do you know that is, B? It's a thin line between church and state.
Well, when she came up with that title, I was like, okay, what are you talking about? But as I have been listening to her podcast on Church at Risk, it is a thin line. So many people, especially since the Trump administration has taken over, they don't understand how much influence the government has on faith-based institutions, whether it be church, social, or civic. And it doesn't take much to cross that line. So it is a thin line between church and state. And where you think you are within your legal rights as far as your leadership or connection to a faith-based organization, it's not easy to cross over that line and get the attention of the state or the local governments or whatever that you've done something wrong. So she brings people together, such as yourself, in their various areas of expertise to help guide a lot of leaders and be proactive instead of reactive to the thin line.
So over these 3 days, there's going to be 12 breakout workshops along 3 tracks. There's a leadership track, the law track, and an administration track. There'll be 4 bonus workshops Thursday and Friday. There'll be private consultations called Ask the Experts. Coach will be part of that. We'll be able to sit down. You can ask the experts about your particular situation and be able to hear some answers that hopefully, prayerfully, most definitely will empower you to act. There'll be 3 empowerment plenary sessions. Coach will be doing one of those. So and there'll be a Divided We Fall Interfaith Community Forum. I'll be part of that. So Coach is going to do a breakout workshop on the leadership track and the administration track. I'll do one of the bonus workshops. I'll be in the private consultations. I'll be part of plenary sessions and part of the Interfaith Community Forum. Why did I say Coach is doing it? And trust me when I tell you, that I am there as a resource. This is not the coach's show. I want to be clear about it. I am there as a resource because we are bringing together people who have things to say that you want to hear. And just in case you want to know who's going to be there, Ms. B, can I share with them who's going to be there?
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Okay, so just so folks don't think we're making it up, Bishop H.E. Bellinger from the Cathedral of the Covenant Church in Columbus, Ohio, Reverend Michelle Thomas from Holy and Whole Life Changing Ministry in Lansdowne, Virginia, Reverend Timothy McFadden, Senior Pastor of the Church of the Messiah in Mount Airy, Maryland. These are movers and shakers in the faith community in their areas, along with Nicole Flanagan, who's a nonprofit consultant in the Leesburg area, and of course, Michelle Rhett, who is just executive director of the Sacred Veil, and she is a summit host. And we're going to have other folks there. For folks in the Richmond area, Dr. Lance Watson is scheduled to be there, the pastor of St. Paul's Baptist Church. Bishop Rosetta Bryson, the human rights advocate from Word of Life Community Church there in Fort Lauderdale. You got Dr. Sharon Sauls who's the founder and CEO of B-Led Consulting out of Annapolis. We are multicultural, multi-faith, and multi-gender. They're having these conversations. Reverend Fred Snowden, Word of Life International, because what we're talking about is important to the faith community. Because the issues that face the church, Ms. B, I'm sad to report, the issues that face the church faces the black church, the white church, the Korean church, and the very fact we talk about black, white, and Korean churches means there's even a bigger issue in the church that we have to make these divisions. So whether you are... Go ahead.
If you don't mind me cutting across and hold that thought, but I want to also get you to understand when we say interfaith, we mean interfaith. We have Imam Rizwan Jaka representing the Muslim community. So it's not just about Christians. It's about every faith. We also are expecting a rabbi to show his presence. So that being said, we really mean interfaith, not interdenominational, because a lot of the things that people he mentioned are still within the Christian community, but we do seriously mean interfaith. It is not just about black, white, or any specific gender. So I just want to throw that out there, Coach.
No, I think it's important because we're going to have a transformational conversation. That's Coach's word, but you know I love transformational conversations. We're going to have a transformational conversation, and one of the panels is going to be dealing with LGBTQ issues in the church. You know, Sister Deborah Barr, who is a member of First Baptist Church in Gardendale, Maryland, she does D-Bar Ministries, and that's a ministry specifically designed to teach pastors and leaders how to minister to LGBTQ community. And we know there's a lot of issues happening there as far as churches understanding how to do ministry. We're going to have conversations about the church and race. That's why it's so important that it's multicultural. So we're going to have the conversation because it's possible that you can be a God-fearing, devout man or woman of God and not have been renewed in this particular area of your life. And these are life-changing conversations that have to happen. And so we're inviting you to come and be part of what is going on. That's November 9th through 11th in Arlington, Virginia at the Renaissance Arlington, Capitol View Hotel in Arlington. So if you always go to the website, Ms. B, I think the website is www.churchnationalsummit.com. That's churchnationalsummit.com. You get a chance to see what's happening there because this is going to be, well, you know my word, one tabulous. It's going to be great, Ms. B.
Yes, it is, absolutely. You can follow us also to get all the information. You can follow us on social media at Church at Risk. There's so much information out there on the different flyers. You can Google each speaker. We have a price list. The whole event is $349, but we have an a la carte. I call it the a la carte menu, so you can decide if there's a specific area you want to attend instead of the whole event. Also, he mentioned the hotel was on the Capitol View Renaissance. We also are offering that to you at a discounted rate if you do not want to participate in the event, but you want to take advantage of the holiday weekend. Fantastic room. The rates are $149. All you have to do is register under the Church at Risk Summit, and who knows, you just may decide to join us as well. So there's a lot of things going on, but you can look us up on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, YouTube, SoundCloud, churchatrisk.com, www.Natural Interfaith Summit. You can find us everywhere on Facebook, especially on Facebook. If nothing else, you can look up Coach Ellis and or myself, Anita Claiborne, and we'll be able to give you information. And before I give it back to you, I just want to say thank you, Coach Ellis, for your support, your participation in the event, because I, for one, believe that you have a lot to say. You have experience in finances. You have experience in so many different areas. So I'm excited to see what you're bringing to the event. It's not just about the event itself, but it's not the Coach Ellis show. But I want everybody to know that you have the rules, white church people, and trust what God allows. But there's so much more to you than people know. And this event is going to give them an opportunity to really see Coach Ellis in all its rare form.
Well, great. Thank you so much, Pete. God bless you, because thank you for saying that. I don't know how much more I have to offer, but I do know that God has put something in me that's designed to help change circumstances, conditions, and situations in the church. So Thursday, I'm telling you, I'm excited. Thursday, I'm looking at the agenda now. Thursday, registration starts at noon, but at 1 o'clock, I got Ask the Experts. It's a business and legal clinic. Come and ask your questions. But at 2 o'clock, there's going to be 2 sessions. This Far by Faith, the history and evolution of houses of worship. And Elder Angela Thornton and Elder David Dupree, who are they are sick. So Angela Thornton is a Wise Word Ministries, and Elder Dupree is president of Pastors Around Knoxville. So they're going to talk about the history and evolutions of houses of faith. That's in Studio A. But Studio B, I will be talking along with Michelle Rhett about sex, money, and hate, top crimes in the faith community. So we're going to talk about it because the church, sex, money, and hate, those are things that are afflicting the local church right now. And what do you mean by sex is afflicting? Well, that's because folks are out of control. The body's controlling them, and they're not controlling their body. And guess what? It ain't just the folks in the pews. I ain't saying. I'm just saying. Money. Too often we see money as the goal and not the tool. And the church has to do the same thing. If the money principle is good for your household, it must be good for the church. So we're going to talk about, and hate. After Charlottesville, my question, people, where was the church? So we're going to talk about sex, money, and hate, top crimes in the faith community. That's at 2 o'clock on Thursday. And then at 3:30 on Thursday, we had another 21st Century Faith Community Facing a Mandatory Paradigm Shift. Bishop Rosetta Bryson, human rights activist and senior pastor of Word of Life Kingdom Church in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Dr. Sharon Sauls, Organizational Leadership Advisor and CEO of B-Led Consulting. And against Coach will be there talking about facing the mandatory paradigm shift. Then you'll get a chance to do some exhibit halls. Folks got exhibits, and then there'll be a fitness trainer at 5:30 talking about getting in shape for the work of ministry. There'll be Join Hands, Join Hearts, a millennial social justice art gallery and reception. The 2017 Interfaith Community Forum, Divided We Fall, where there's a presentation by Dr. Alton Hayes of Faith Shepherd Baptist Church in D.C., and Elder Angela Thornton, Reverend Timothy McFadden. There's going to be all kinds of things. There's going to be a conversation from the millennial perspective. There's going to be some musical guests. I think it's the youth choir of Baltimore.
Yeah.
There'll be talking about why we gather. There's going to be the charge for the church, life lessons from Sesame Street. That's going to be Michelle Rhett going to talk about life lessons from Sesame Street. And then there'll be an evening dialogue. We are our brother's keepers, destroying lines of division in the faith community. Yeah. So Deborah Barr is going to be talking. She runs the LGBT D-Bar Ministries. Dr. Lance Watson, Iman Rizwan Jacquet, Bishop Rosetta Bryson, Deacon John Sibley from the Harvard School of Religious Studies. So don't think folks are shamming. Folks are bringing the heat.
That's right.
Okay?
They bringing it.
Yeah, it ain't just anybody. Folks are bringing it, and I'm excited to be. I feel blessed to be counted among these great men and women of the faith.
Amen. Absolutely.
And you guys know Coach loves him some Coach, but I love me some God even more. And the fact that God allows me to be in the company of these great men and women of the faith as we help ourselves and help others go deeper into the faith. This ain't for rookies. Okay? This ain't for the novice. And Miss B, let me tell you why. And I want to be very clear about this. Folks who are just coming into the faith, whatever their faith is, they're excited. And they are all about what we can do. But the longer you've been around people of faith, the less you believe. The longer you've been in the church, the less you trust God. The longer you've been in the synagogue, the less you trust God.
Say it again. And I mean, I really didn't mean to be rude, but people need to hear that.
Well, but I think it's true. The longer we are in our houses of faith, the less we trust God.
Jesus.
The longer you've been in church, the more you've learned how not to trust God. Because let's be honest, be brutally honest. We don't have a lot of people modeling trusting God. And remember what George Barnes said in his survey, that 4 out of 5 pastors, religious leaders, faith leaders, do not have a biblical worldview. What does that mean? 80% of our spiritual leaders don't believe the holy text in which they talk about. So that being the case, we don't learn how to trust God in church. We learn how to trust God when we don't have any other choice. What a concept that we might actually at the summit help people start trusting God before the tragedy. So when the tragedy comes, it's business as usual. I trust God. That we don't have to use the tragedy to learn to trust God. We trust God in the good times, so it becomes easier to trust Him in the bad times. Church is at risk. The church is at risk. Sex, money, and hate, the high crimes of the church, we're at risk because we have not learned to trust God with sex, with our money, or with our hate. We're going to talk about that. This is going to be a great summit. I hope you show up. Church, help me out, Miss B, because I'm excited. I'm about to get my little shout on here, so got to work it out.
I just like when you put those 3 things in the same sentence. I mean, sex, what? I mean, that's just blowing it out the water.
Sex, money, and hate. Yeah.
Sex, money, and hate. And I'm telling you, those 3 things right there is enough to get your attention. You can't conquer what you don't confront. And this summit is confronting a lot of issues. Again, we're trying to encourage you to be proactive, but sometimes a lot of people act out of ignorance as well. There's some things that's going to be discussed. There's someone going to be representing our 501(c)(3)s. There's someone who's going to be representing a lot of different areas, finances, and a lot of times you don't even know some of the smallest things that you do, from who you hire, can take everything from you if you don't do your due diligence, if you have the wrong person in your organization. And there's a lot of people who have lost their churches because the congregation and the board came up against their leadership. And even though, they started the church on their own and it was, passed down from generations, you don't even know that your board can vote to, take everything from you. So nothing is etched in stone. So this is going to be a whole lot of things going on for this 3-day summit. And again, we have the a la carte menu. If you're not interested in the whole summit, you may just want a certain section. So I'm excited, Coach.
Yeah. How do they find out? www.churchnationalsummit.
Amen, everybody.
That ain't hard. Come on, folks. Let's get with it. churchnationalsummit.com. For those that don't understand, that's churchnationalsummit.com. And let me tell you, while I'm playing, I'm serious about this. If you don't do another conference in this entire year, instead of going to some place that makes you feel good, okay, Ms. B, I'm telling. Can I tell them?
Go ahead on.
All right. Instead of going to a summit that makes you feel good while you're there but leaves you hungry afterwards, it's kind of like eating Chinese food. I love Chinese food. I eat a whole lot of it, get full, but I'm hungry a couple of hours later. So if you like the Chinese food diet, that's okay. Go somewhere else. But if you're a steak and potato type person, when you get down the meal, you get up, it stays with you for a little bit. This is the Steak and Potato Summit. Because when you come out of here, you're going to be full, but it's going to stick with you a while. You're going to have to let it marinate a little bit. You're going to have to chew it over and over and over again. And in fact, when you're done, afterwards, you're going to say, I might need to contact them because I need some help understanding how this flows in my situation. And you'll have a chance to meet coaches, lawyers, business leaders there who can help you do what God has called you to do. What concept that we actually in the church that actually have the ability to help others within the church do what God called them to do. I'm excited, Miss B. I'm excited. Did I say I'm excited? I'm excited.
All right, everybody. He's excited. What can I say? We're excited. Oh, man, Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time out to have me on this episode of Church What God Allows. We're going to be talking about this event all the way up until the end. There's so many other things. Why Church People, don't forget to join him on Why Church People every Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m. on the Survival Radio Network with friends. That's including myself and
Lady D.
Lady D. That's right. Let's not forget Lady D. Also, I want you to understand that I carry his Why Church People exclusively on Storm Talk 365, but also I will carry his Why Church People at 7 p.m. most of the time, East Coast time on Storm Talk 365. But Coach has a lot more to offer than that. He also has the rules coming up. We have a lot to offer, but we're really concentrating on this summit. So if you don't do anything else, come on up. The Hotel Renaissance is on the Capitol View Mall, and you can just have a great old time for that weekend.
Yep, and if you get there, if you're struggling to get there, you ought to be there. Okay? You go to the website, it's going to tell you how much it is, but let me tell you, if you don't invest, you can't get the dividends. So don't let it scare you. Someone say, "Well, I can't afford it, Coach." Here's what I would tell you. Bottom line. No. But it's real because people struggle. I got it. You don't have the money, but you cannot afford to miss this one. For less than $500, your life and your ministry can be changed for the rest of your life and ministry. And when you start looking at that, 10, 20, 30 years, okay, that's pennies a day. Dimes a day, less than $1 a day, to be changed inextricably and never be the same again. Come on, folks. Come on out. Come to the summit. Check it out, Church Summit, churchnationalsummit.com. If you got any questions, you can email me at coach@elliscrum.net. Hit me up on Facebook, Coach Ellis. You can contact us through this big. Tell them how they can reach you.
You know what? Just find me all over. You can contact me at stormtalk365@gmail.com, or you can look us up, Miss Benita Claiborne or Benita Claiborne on Facebook. Just know that we're everywhere, but also Church at Risk is on Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook, churchatrisk.com, Church at Risk 2017 National Summit.
Great. Outstanding. So, hey, if you're struggling to get there, just remember, trust what God allows. We'll see you next week. We'll talk about this again. Until then, have a one-fabulous week as God pours his blessing out on you that you may bless others. Good night, everybody. Or good afternoon, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Storm Talk 365 Radio. Tune in. Get the knowledge, the wisdom, the power, the prayer, the praise, the worship. It's called Life 24/7, 365. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Get ready, get excited, get empowered on Storm Talk 365 Radio.